How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's Jeremy here with another video for you guys, and today's video is mental scars. And when I talk about mental scars, basically the premise I'm trying to touch on here is what has depression, what has, maybe the deaths of family members, what has breakups, relationships gone wrong, done to, basically scar me mentally in a way that maybe I haven't been the same since. And what have I done to cope with that action? Kind of cope with the realization that things are never the same after those kind of situations. And so, it's kind of a hard topic, but I think I can get through this one a little bit easier than most, just because it took me a long while to kind of realize these kind of things. So, mental scarring, it's just as is, it's a scar that is not visible, at least not to normal, kind of things like that. It's not a normal thing you can see. It's kind of more of a, all right, this happened to me, but I can't tell anybody because I had this feeling with it, right? And so what has mentally scarred me to the point where I can tell you I'm not the same person because of so and so, because of this or because of that? Well, for me, I can honestly tell you the thing that scarred me the most was probably the time I got closest to suicide. And that day was, there we go, that's a little bit better on the camera. That day was probably the toughest day of my life. um, you know it's it was a day I battled, not just mentally, I battled physically, I battled, the ins and outs of life. I battled so many things in my head. I didn't know whether, what exactly was going to happen, right? I knew that with this situation, if I, could push through it, it would leave a lasting impression in me, but I would be better off because of it. But at the same time, if I decided to one day leave this planet because of that situation, um, I knew it would leave a very deep and painful, you know, experience for those around me that loved me at the time. And so what that was probably the most scarring thing in my life, was having the thoughts, having the notions, wanting to know that, yeah, sure, my life would be better off because I'm finally gone, but what exactly am I doing to those around me? What am I leaving behind that's not gonna be the best of intentions? And so I had, I thought about it for months, and I mean months and months and months of just the ins and outs, the positives and negatives, which for some people there's no positive, but for me, someone's soul finally rests. And it's you man, I think about it often. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think about a situation where what would have happened if I would have traded places with somebody, or if I would have traded places with so and so, that I know that have passed away, because of the same scenario. And how would our lives have turned out knowing that they would still be here and I wouldn't have? What would have happened in that situation? And I don't have them as often now, because I've been able to cope with reality of, hey, I'm here for a reason. I'm here to do the things that I do, whether they are good or bad, or whether they come out positive, they come out negative. They're all situations in which we learn. They're all situations in which we, have to keep persevering, got to keep pushing through life, and understanding that it gets better. It really does. And at the end of the day, I can't fault anybody that has gone before me. I have family that's done it. I've had friends that have done it. I have, people that I've known that have done it. But I can't fault them for it, because in a sense that's the way they saw it. And luckily I got help. I had somebody that saved my life, and I'll keep their name in the privacy just for that sake. Luckily she's married now. She's got her family going, and I can't thank her enough for saving me. She was honestly, a blessing in disguise at the time that I'd never wanted to pay attention to, because I didn't know if it was going to be the right thing, and so I got lucky. She decided to call, 911, and they showed up to my house, and my dad answered the door, and the rest is history. I'm still here. And whether I fight with the idea of wanting to leave one day or another, I know that at the end of the day, it's just a stepping stone to start getting better and better. Luckily, I haven't had those thoughts in a while, and I thank God, and I thank my family, I thank the support I have around me for that. Because if I feel like if I would have honestly stayed in the path of staying quiet, staying to myself, not opening up to others, there's no way I would have been able to survive by myself. There's no way that I would have been able to have the voices in my head, the people in my life that allowed me to think it through, better, not think so negatively, not think so destructively in a sense. And that's a scar that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life, is the contemplation of it. And at the same time, you got things like breakups. I had a 3-year relationship that ended because she cheated on me more than once, and I was stupid enough to let her. I that relationship should have lasted a year, maybe a year and a quarter, and I let it last 3 years, knowing damn well that that first situation wasn't going to be the last. But it was because I was so stupid and so caught up in love, that at least what I thought was love at the time, that I didn't want to let go. She was the person holding me together. She was, the person that helped me get through my depression as well. And it's luckily, both the person that saved me and the person that kept me together weren't the same. Because I feel like if I would have lost both of them at once, that would have been a whole other kicker. But it was hard when I broke up with her, and and then that scarring, and that coupled with a year before having to wanting to contemplate suicide and shit, and man, it was a different ball game when I was that age. And this all happened when I was about 17 years old, and it was hard. I mean, I was 16 going on 17, and I was just trying to find purpose. I was trying to find what's the reason I'm here, because at the time it didn't seem like I had a reason. All I was doing was being another statistic in school. I was just being another kid, and but I knew I wanted to do something better than that, but I couldn't find out what. I couldn't find out why, why I was having these thoughts, why I was doing this, why I was doing that. I just knew that at the end of the day, life was going to make things better or it was going to make things worse. But I knew I had to keep fighting. There was no reason to stop fighting. And the big motivator of that was my parents. I kept a lot of things from them growing up. I kept a lot of my depression away from them. They knew I was depressed. They knew I was sad, but they never knew how bad it got. And so, it was just, man. It gives me chills every fucking time I talk about it. It gives me fucking chills because it's a scar that's with me forever. And anybody that knows me knows the stuff that I've been through to not only, have to suppress that scarring, but, get past it. And, I can't thank people enough. I have many, people in my life that I'm fortunate enough to call, family or loved ones. And, besides my own family, everybody's helped me in their own ways. And it's helped a lot with the scarring. I can tell you guys, if we're thinking about it figuratively, or however you want to think about it, this mental scar went from being the size of, let's just say, a 3-story building, that's laid out, fucking huge, to the size of a small trailer house. It's been suppressed and built down so well and kept together so well that I honestly can say I don't have those thoughts as bad. I have my days where I'm depressed, and this fucking virus isn't helping. I know a lot of people are depressed right now, and I feel bad for you. If you ever need something, call me or text me. But, it's just it's a whole different ballgame once you get the support, and that's something that I had to learn for myself, because there was a lot of times and a lot of situations where I didn't give a fuck what anybody else wanted to offer, like help-wise, you know. Excuse me. I don't know if I actually burped on camera, but it came out small. But, it was like, my parents always worried, of course, and I'm grateful they always worried. I'm grateful they didn't take it, negatively to where they, got hurt that I wasn't talking to them, and there's one person that kept me together for the last couple years. She was perfect. She understood my problems. She understood my situations, and I didn't help her. She's told me, that I was probably the best thing that happened to her, and but there was days where I know that everything I unloaded on her, negatively because of my brain, because I would be talking about, how I didn't want to be here. I would talk about how I didn't want to, I always told her, if anything ever happened to me, to take care. And I know that killed her inside, because she doesn't want to hear her best friend, her person talk like that. And, at the end of the day, I still have, that relationship, where I can still trust her, and she still trusts me for anything. But I feel bad because I pushed her away. I pushed a lot of people away for a couple years. I did live pretty seldom because I didn't want to open myself up again and get that same situation where I fall in love with another girl and she's gonna be the same fucking situation where, you know, where it hurts. And it's just, I'm lucky enough to grow from it, and I'm lucky enough that every other situation I've had in my life, whether it's the death of a family member, the death of an important loved one, it wasn't as bad anymore. I still have scarring, I still have memories, I still have this and that, but they're not as bad. Man, I need to catch my breath for a second. That was a lot of words and a lot of time, but we move on. We learn, and we just keep pushing through life, and we keep going, and we find ways to live in their name, in a sense. And honestly, the most recent scarring for me was last year, with the death of my grandmother. That still hits me like a ton of bricks. That still hits me like, what would she be thinking about me right now? What what kind of little tease would she be giving me right now? She'd be making fun of me all day, every day. She'd be telling me to go find myself a blonde girl with different colored eyes than mine, and make sure that I give her beautiful little great grandkids. And before she passed, that was one of the last things we talked about. She said, if I ever leave this earth, I want to thank you for being who you were, and make sure you go find yourself a wife. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not ready for that though, but I know now that I'm gonna try my hardest to, and I'm gonna make sure I find myself a wife that she knew what kind of girls I liked. And I'll be honest with you guys, yeah, it's a blonde girl, blonde haired girl. I like myself a white girl. Let's put it that way. And so she knows what I'm gonna, if one day it allows, what I'm gonna marry. But it's just those kind of scars bring happiness and sadness, because you're sad they're no longer here, but you're happy that they're no longer suffering. And that's that's really all there is to it. It's just a situation where it's dilemmas in life, right? Mental scarring is just dilemmas in life, where we either cope with the pain, or we live through life, remembering it. And I'm not saying it's bad to remember it, but you gotta find the ways in which you don't let it eat you out, eat you alive, eat you out. That sounds so wrong. You let it fester enough, and it starts to eat you alive, and that's not the way to do it. You got to take these experiences and take the good and the bad out of them and move on. I took the good experiences, which was, at the time, we did love each other for a while there, for that 3-year relationship, but at the end of the day, things caused, what happened. And, we're here moving on. Just like with my grandmother, I remember everything, and everything good and everything that she might have had bad about her. But that's just the way you move on through life. You have to keep pushing, knowing damn well that life's only gonna get better. You're not gonna have It's hard. I think I basically went through, what I think about with mental scarring. It's just, it's better to get, to have somebody there to be support, because a lot of mental scars, yeah, you can run through them alone, but I think it's just a lot better to have somebody there to talk to and to, you know, rely on. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm gonna go watch some funny videos now, so I can kind of bring up my mood. Anyways, you guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Once again, thanks for always listening to these kind of talks. They are where you'll see me at my realest, where you'll see me at my most vulnerable. And honestly, I love doing these every time because they make me think. They make me reminisce. I'm not saying it's good to reminisce about a 3-year chick that broke your heart, but at the end of the day, it's reminisce. It's a memory that you gotta, always have in mind. It reminisces me about my grandma, which I still miss to this day. And it's a part of life. And just know that any mental scarring that you receive, it's just find your way to push through it. There's one thing I will leave you guys with, and it's something that I've heard one on TV, but at the same time I've heard it through life. I remember a old man telling me, and he told me, son, because he knew about my depression. He told me, son, you got to find the one thing that you can rely on. Some people like to go home, take a drink, enjoy life that way. Some people will go home, rely on their wife, their kids. And what I heard on a TV show, and they called it their chair, right? Someone has something they call their chair, which is something they, go home, they'll relax in, they'll sit down and just think about shit. For me, my chair has always been weight training and family, and at the end of the day, that's always going to be my chair. I know that I can always go blow off some steam at the gym. I know I can always go, talk to a family member about any situation I got. And for the most part, as long as it's not anything bad, in the sense of, legal issues, I'm sure they'll always take care of me. But no, all jokes aside, because that's a joke, all jokes aside, I know I can trust family for everything. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the family I've had and for the family I've known and people I've known that have grown into family for me. And so just, I hope you guys enjoy. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Easter Sunday. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week, and I hope anybody that has been suffering through this COVID, hope you're feeling better. I hope you're, doing well. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace.